for you. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. Doctor is in the house.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Welcome to Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored. After being away for a few weeks, we are back. And today we will talk about what to believe and what not to believe. We're going to welcome all you curious minds and seekers of the truth to a journey that's going to transcend the conventional norms of healthcare in a world brimming with information. Too much information at times. We find ourselves at the crossroads of uncertainty and skepticism, especially when it comes to matters as sacred as our well-being. So I am Dr. Ron, and I invite you to join me on this voyage. We're going to challenge the status quo, untangle some of the webs of ambiguity, and lay bare the foundation of a new perspective on health. One that places the reins of your well-being squarely in your capable hands. As I have been telling you, you have to be the CEO of your own body. Now, we're in an age of sound bites, instant solutions. I want this podcast from here on to be a sanctuary of truth and transparency. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to shift from passive recipients of medical advice to active guardians of your own vitality. We have many podcasts, over 490, some where I have given you information on vitamins, minerals, enzymes, detoxification. I've had Dr. Wang, Dr. Safer, Professor Peskin. We've had all kinds of guests, but we have to use that information now. We have to change from just gathering it from the yin phase, the yin phase, and acupuncture to the yang phase. We have to start using it. So we're going to delve into some interesting areas, some rabbit holes, if you will. Now we're not. We are not now. I have never advocated abandoning the medical establishment, but we want to augment it and know when to use it, when not to use it. So we have to now scrutinize the science, dissect the data, dissect the often labyrinthine landscape of health information. So let's go on this ride and venture into a realm where you stand as the sole keeper of your health. So let's buckle up. Let's get ready. Let's empower your health. Let's unveil this empowerment. So I want to start out this podcast with a quote from Martin Luther King. Our days begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Think about that. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Because we already know the playbook. The playbook was shown to us in 2020. We know it's going to be. We know every act. Wouldn't armies like to know what the playbook of their enemies would be? We know it. They have shown their hand. We have gone through the history of the Rockefeller medicine with the Flexner report and how we have become a nation that has a paradigm for a pill for an ill, because petroleum medicine reigns king. I've told you about the side effects of drugs. We have the best emergency system and treatment around, but we have the most chronic diseases. We've had thousands of deaths from the recent inoculations. We have myocarditis from the inoculations. We have to get to the truth. Now, and in order to keep my sanity and take a break from this truth-seeking mission that we are now on, let me just bring to your attention some recent articles. Number one, mammograms leading to widespread overdiagnosis and unnecessary treatment in older women. From an NCI study. An alarming new study reveals that mammograms in older women are doing more harm than good. Not only did mammography not increase survival, but the older the woman, the more likely she will suffer overdiagnosis and unnecessary surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. Among women age 85 and older, an estimated 54% of breast cancer was potentially overdosed as a result of, quote, preventative, unquote, breast screenings. The study was titled Estimating Breast Cancer Overdiagnosis After Screening Mammography Among Older Women in the United States. It was published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, and it indicated that the overdiagnosis and overtreatment of breast cancer in older women is far more widespread than commonly revealed. So if you are in the senior citizen group, you might want to question your doctor if he's going to order another mammogram. Now, you've all seen, like I have seen, although I don't watch much television anymore, doctors saying that it's okay to take drugs that were not meant to be obesity drugs, that they'd be fine for you because they'll help you to lose weight. Well, these popular weight loss drugs, ladies and gentlemen, are linked to stomach paralysis, suicide, and more. Now, the European Medical Agency, EMA, issued a safety signal citing concerns about a possible link to all types of thyroid cancer in people using Ozempic. An alarm is going off about the dangerous health risks associated with the popular weight loss and diabetic medication. Negative health outcomes are reportedly associated with these drugs, and they include stomach paralysis, potential surgery complications, and increased suicidal risk. This drug, semaglutide, is sold under brand names like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. For a significant number of people, this drug slows digestion so much that it causes severe paralysis of the stomach. Again, medication that was used to treat diabetes now is being used off-label. And this reminds me, what happened in the beginning of COVID? They would not let doctors use ivermectin. Well, they had a reason. And the reason was inoculations. But now they're promoting a drug that has serious side effects. And this comes on the heel of another newly published review of documents that find that pharmaceutical companies use many tactics to ensure the profit without regard to health. This was a Cochrane Evidence Synthesis and Methods article that examined the internal pharma industry documents, primarily obtained through litigation. The study found that pharmaceutical industry employs numerous ghost management strategies to corrupt research and circumvent and undermine regulations to manipulate consumers and protect their interests. You know, we have been saying and telling you that 84% of research is funded by pharmaceutical companies. This article goes in detail about ghost management. Pharma approaches professionals with promises of titles and lucrative speaking fees to promote its products. Industry operatives use promotional meetings with professionals to increase sales. They fund trials. They advertise in healthcare professionals, to our healthcare professionals. They create conflicts of interest. And it goes on and on. Again, what I'm telling you is question everything. Question everything. And to top that off, if you disagree with the big pharmaceutical companies who seem to control the FDA, the CDC, the feds now want to make it easier to identify independent doctors. They want to obtain the National Practitioner Data Bank. They want to have information on any malpractice payments, licensure actions, certification actions, negative actions or findings taken by peer review organizations, adverse actions taken against clinical privileges. In other words, they want to have on record everything negative about physicians, even though it might come and be and be fraudulent, like Merle Nass up in the New England area. You see where we're going with this, ladies and gentlemen? Why it's important that we just stay on top of this. And guess what? You know, it's not inexpensive to become a physician today. And those that can afford Harvard, guess what? Harvard University, according to this article, recently organized an event to support graduate students enrolling in government food assistance programs. How about that? The Health Services Office at Harvard sent a flyer to graduate students encouraging them to participate in the SNAP benefits sign-up event. The flyer read, quote, "Fuel your body and stock your pantry. Did you know that grad students may qualify for assistance paying for food and groceries?" Now, ladies and gentlemen, Harvard is the wealthiest academic institution globally. It has an endowment of approximately $53 billion. What a shame, these poor students. And what is even more of a shame is they pay all this money and they are not taught how to think. Most medical residents use Google for a differential diagnosis. They are not taught how to think critically about diagnoses or what's happening in their professions. And now Harvard wants them to apply for food stamps. All right. I don't want to go really long today, but this is the way I want Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored to be unapologetic and to bring you not only what's good for your health, but what's good for you and your family to go forward, because this game is going to be played out again. Because truth is important. But you know what? People of good faith, God-fearing Christians, they're willing to be corrected. But you know, liars are not. They have a completely different ideology. They know they're wrong, but they don't care. And again, of all the vicious lies about in we've put up with, the campaign to demonize ivermectin, a Nobel Prize-winning true wonder drug, among the safest known pharmaceuticals ever, effective against disease-causing parasites and also a potent antiviral agent. Isn't that exactly what the CDC and FDA turned on? Yet they allow all these ads for Ozempic. The drug worked, but they had to pretend that it did not. You know, there are propaganda techniques, and they are being used against us, especially for medicine, and to keep us down and in fear, which keeps our immune system not functioning properly. So during the next month, you're going to hear name calling. You're going to hear generalities, slogans, and catchphrases. They're going to find companies that you revere to go along with them. You're going to hear testimonials by authority figures, so-called authority figures. They're celebrities who are reading a script. You're going to hear material presented by people who appear to be, they're just like us, common people. They're going to be presenting the propaganda. And then they're going to create an illusion that there's a consensus out there and that you better be on the right side. And you're only going to hear, except here at Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored, facts that support the company or industry ideas. And they're going to try to make you assume that these facts are conclusive. We've been here before, ladies and gentlemen. The virus is spreading. Containment will be difficult. Containment isn't working. New cases in other countries. It's coming here. Fear porn, panic buying in stores. We've been to this rodeo. We cannot afford to do this again. We cannot afford to lose any more of our liberties. And what's the sense of all this that we've been talking about for years, about methylene blue, about zymesins, about zeolite, if we do not have our freedom to buy them? What's the sense of talking about energetic medicine, the medicine of the future, which we have right now, if we're locked up in our houses, if our internet and media are censored? What happens when organizations like the AMA want to fund trans surgeries? What happens when these same organizations want the taxpayer to pay for it? The Washington Examiner reported that the American Medical Association floated a trial balloon for uterus transplants for biological men who identify as transgender. The AMA, multi-billion-dollar arm of the pharmaceutical company. Jeez. Yeah, it only costs between $100,000 and $300,000, according to the AMA, for this uterus transplant surgery. This same article headlined that the AMA plots move on taxpayer-funded uterus transplants for biological men. Dr. Martin Macri of Johns Hopkins School of Medicine told the Examiner that rather than funding objective medical studies on transgender medicine, the AMA has chosen activist positions on this topic and this delicate topic. Why don't they fund a 10-year regret rate of children who undergo transitioning surgery? Why is the suicide rate among those who undergo aggressive hormonal or surgical treatment versus long-term talk therapy? That's why we have to pay attention. We have to be active. We can't be quiet anymore. We cannot be quiet anymore. Actually, doctors doing the right thing could be guilty of practicing medicine. That might be a crime, to do the right thing, to listen to the patient, to prescribe what is indeed necessary, not what you are told to prescribe. And that's the other scary thing, is that most physicians now are employed, and they are bound to do what their employer tells them, or they'll be out of a job, or they'll be reported to the medical society and then onto the Fed list. So we have to start unpacking this, unpacking all of this information. We have to know what was in the inoculations. Was it or was it not gene therapy? Are we less human if it is gene therapy? They want to put a chip in our brain. Does that make us less human? Does that make us transhuman? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way this podcast is going to go. We will still bring you up to date and news that you can use to stay healthy. We'll talk about methylene blue, red light therapy, sauna therapy, detoxification. But I also want to bring you the other side of the story, like Paul Harvey used to, but he was more eloquent than I am. But I also want you to get off your butts, get your meat off the seat. We have to be warriors. We have to be champions. Because we're at a tipping point. If we don't get this thing turned around and we are always ruled by the tyrants, our children and grandchildren may not have a chance to experience what we have experienced. Our children are getting sicker, more chronic disease in children now. They've never done a 10 or 20 year study on vaccines. Why not? Well, I'll let you think about that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Sorry about my tirades, but this is the way we're going. I'm getting to the point in my life that I just can't take it anymore. There's too much lack of transparency, too much fraud, too much greed. I mean, look at the money that Dr. Fauci made. Look at the billions of dollars that the pharmaceutical companies have made. And look at what they're doing. They want to continue to monitor doctors to see if they are indeed prescribing medication that is not from the approved list. So recently, before I close, RFK Jr. Unloaded the truth about ivermectin to the Hill. You might want to look that up. Pfizer's profits are down 98%. Moderna's profits are down 93%. You think they would like to get another injection out there for which no side effect would they be liable? RSV cases, we're going to see more of them. And that might be what we're going to be required to mask up for and whatever. Although there's so many studies out there, especially from Harvard, Dr. Harvey Risch, that prove that masks in hospitals may have had little or no impact on the transmission of that last virus. I mean, I see these things and it's getting to me. It really is. I see young kids having myocarditis that never had it before. I see people dying in excess of other years. So let's read our labels carefully. Let's not put into our minds and eyes anything that we would not say out loud. Let's try and have an attitude of gratitude and be positive and help your fellow man. And before you let any foreign material be put into your body, please do your due diligence. Ask questions. Ask who is responsible if you have a side effect. Many fast from food and drink, right? But now we have to also fast from evil thoughts, deeds, and words. We have to take the higher road, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Dr. Ron here from Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored. Thank you for listening, and we'll have Freddie take us home, and we'll see you next week.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in